ready for your statement, introduce yourself, and go right straight into it. If you're speaking to Congress, when you get it to the end, say thank you so that we'll know you're done.
Okay. Good day. My name is Mark T. Smith, and I reside in Holland, Michigan. My deceased father, Robert O. Smith of Muskegon, Michigan, 1932-1982, was a decorated Marine. He was a visionary, a self-taught artist, and he was employed as a technical illustrator at Continental Motors Corporation in Muskegon. He retired there in 1978 due to considerable ill health. Continental, then a U.S. government-owned military plant. My complex story involves a decades-old issue, but one that is nonetheless relevant today. Based on a recent discovery and dedicated research since, I have determined that my deceased father, and thus now my family, have been cheated over time from the true rights to a highly important United States patent. A patent that has been duly noted for creating a multi-billion-dollar-a-year industry. I call it an industry deceived, and the industry is camouflage. A deceased pioneer, my dad, was the first man ever to invent, design, and develop the type of camouflage that resembled the bark of a tree. His concept then, in the early 1970s, was about to change everything, and especially within the hunting industry. This concept also carried with it major new and previously unthought of considerations for the United States military. My dad's then efforts were trampled upon by others with the means to do so. My dad was offered a 60-40 deal on his new invention by his then trusted patent attorneys out of Grand Rapids. A deal then in which my father was not convinced was fair. When he didn't bite on their offer, yet continued his invention path with the same attorneys, his patent was then later allowed to go abandoned within the system. I now believe that this was a calculated event, both intentional and deliberate. At the same time, a corporation was formed in Washington, D.C., 2 to 3 blocks from the White House. This corporation, in which I have come to describe as a carrying company, was years later responsible for the formation of another company, and that company went on to take the claim to fame for my father's invention. Along the way here, a long list of what I would now describe as then high-powered attorneys with both military and government affiliations and backgrounds. High suspicion, unanswered questions, and hard facts now additionally question the validity of certain others that followed directly within that industry. I stand now by the thus completed documentation of my project, titled My Dad's Camo Discovery Project, as the real truth within our country's important history. My documentation has been described as deep, astounding, and extremely thorough, and it all leads then within the District of Columbia government and to classified daily diaries within the highest level of the office in the land. I've exposed my story with a Facebook page titled My Dad's Camo, all one word. I continue to seek additional support for my cause, and I still am seeking contingency representation in order to take my case to federal court. Most all of my local and state representatives are aware of me and my concerns, yet they have either ignored me or attempted to pass the buck onto the federal government. Now as well, the mainstream media, including CNN, certain internet sites, outdoor writers, and others continue to do what they can to suppress my story. The facts are in, the results are in as well, and any reasonable and just person that reviews my project will most likely question the industry itself and the government, rather than to question me. It's time for good men to act. I am currently requesting congressional hearings on my matter, as this matter has not only affected me, but it has affected the world. I will continue my fight for justice. Thank you.